Tattoo Live. Tattoo. Tough answers, tough topics, often overlooked. We got the word for you because it comes straight from the book. That's what we always say. Got Tattoo Live tonight. We want you to subscribe. Give us some thumbs up. Give me some comments. Let me know that you have viewed this broadcast. Tattoo stands for Tough Answers, Tough Topics, Often Overlooked. I'm your host, Pastor David Ings. We're here tonight to talk about tattoo. Are you ready? You ready? Let's go. Yeah. We got a lot of things to share tonight. Yeah. Tattoo Live, Pastor Dave, I'm here. This is Wednesday the 24th. We're here to talk about tattoo. Once again, it stands for Tough Answers, Tough Topics, Often Overlooked. And we were in the community last week at VER, and we posted up a lot of information regarding the lives, the Facebook Live, YouTube Live. This is our YouTube channel. And you can find this on Tattoo Momentum. Tattoo Momentum. And I want you to subscribe because we have a lot of things we want to share. We want you to stay connected. So when I go live, you'll know it. All right? So one of the things we always wanted to let you know. Let me do this. Yeah. Again, tattoo stands for Tough Answers, Tough Topics, Often Overlooked. Another definition is the art of listening and the power of comprehension. Do you know the difference between the two? The difference between listening and comprehending? Do you know that? If I were to ask you that question, would you know it? One of the young people said listening is, or rather, they would say comprehending is picking up what I'm putting down. That's what that would be, all right? And listening is what we're doing right now. Giving audience to words that are being shared. But then comprehending is picking up what we're putting down. That's what I want you to do tonight. Okay? So listen, we were talking about pandemics, and we're still discussing that topic. Before I go any further with that, this is what I want you to know about our, go here. We still have our cell phone app. It's an excellent way to stay engaged with tattoo. All you need to do is text, hi, my name is, whatever your name is. Please send me the tattoo app. And the number is 484-655-2994. And you send that in, and I will send you the app. The app is free, all right? And you can download it on your Android or your iPhone. And we have pizza promotions, book promotions, movie tickets, and a whole lot of other things that I'm doing once you are engaged with tattoo. And you'll see the offerings in the app. You can interact with me, ask questions any time of day that we may be able to get some information to you if you're curious about other things associated with the program. As some of you may know, that tattoo was largely, we were in two rec centers at VER, which is 2600 Morris Street, and Di Silvestro, which is at 15th and Morris, and right there near 15th and Broad Street, or where Morris is. Di Silvestro has a library right there on Broad Street, but right behind there is a recreation center, and that's where we, twice a month, every second Wednesday we were there, and every fourth Wednesday at VER. But because we've been virtualized because of the pandemic, we're doing tattoo every Wednesday, and I think that's how we're going to do it going forward. Even when we go back to the rec centers, I'm still on alternating Wednesdays. I'll do tattoo right from our studio here, so you all can stay engaged with the topics and the things that we're offering. Isn't that going to be cool? So look forward to that, all right? Let's go into our topic. Let me set it up for you. We were talking about pandemics or epidemics. Take a look at here. Here's our tattoo website. Remember that, www.tattooforlife.org. Okay? Let me do this real quick. I want to send out one notification on our Facebook page that we are live. Can I do that? Yeah, let's do that real quick. You all hang in here with me as I do that. That's my niece Nevaeh. If I talk about love, would you listen to me? Or would you get offended? So, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, check this. Love never fails. Love never dies. Love is everlasting. When I look deep into your eyes. Love is what I ask for. Love is what I need. We're just going to send this a notification out on our Facebook page. If I talk about love, yeah. Would you listen to me? Talk about love. Tattoo is live now. If I talk about love, yeah, check this. Love never fails. Love never dies. Love is everlasting. When I look deep into your eyes, love is what I ask for. Love is what I need. Love is what I find when I'm down on my knees. Love. If I talk about love. Okay, we published that. Just one more time with that. And then I'm going to share it on my David Ings page. Yeah. If I talk about love. If I talk about love. If I talk about check this. Love never fails. Love never dies. Love is everlasting. When I look deep into your eyes. Love is what I ask for. Love is what I need. Love is what I find when I'm down on my knees. If I talk about love, yeah. If I talk about love. Okay, so we've done that. Thank you for hanging in there with me for that bit of notification. Let's go back to our discussion. We've been talking about pandemics because it seems like people don't know what to do with it. There's been many other pandemics before, about 20 in total, and a few more. We only have maybe about 7 we're sharing here. But again, before we go any further, we have our Remember the Tattoo page, tattooforlife.org, and you're going to hear more about that. I want you to, when you go to the page, you can subscribe for our newsletter and to get updates when I send them out. And I'll show you later how to do that. A pandemic is a disease prevalent throughout the country or a continent or the entire world. An epidemic is a rapid spread of a disease or an occurrence of something, temporary prevalence of a disease. And this is what we're doing, which is what we're dealing with right now. A temporary prevalence, an existence, a presence of a disease. And that disease is CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2, aka COVID-19. Let's see here if I can do my split screen so you all can still see me. Can I do it? Will it work? There we go. Technology, man. I say this every week. If I had a media team, I wouldn't have to do all my stuff in live, in real time. I think it just makes it exciting to when you're engaging, when you're watching. I think it just technology, man. What am I going to say? I'm a technologist, by the way. So many of you may know this. You know, I write code for a living and working on systems and whatnot as a system engineer for almost like 30 years now. So it's all a challenge to me. So I enjoy it. All right. So look at here. We have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 9 different out of the 20. I'll share some of the others in the future. But we had the American plague in the 16th century. You had the Philadelphia yellow fever, 1793, the flu pandemic, American polio. Now, I went through these prior broadcasts this month, so I won't go through them as thoroughly now because I want to get to the newer information that I want to talk about tonight, which are vaccines. All right, so we had the polio, Spanish flu, Asian flu, AIDS, and from 1981 to present. So AIDS is still out there. And there's no vaccine for AIDS. Once you got it now, there's medicine to help you live and not die from it. But it's still, there's no vaccine to prevent you or to fight off such a disease. So you have to be careful. SARS-CoV-2, which is COVID-19. So again, we only show you this because there's been many pandemics. And I often say that half of our country is struggling with how we should respond to this. If a year and a half ago, people didn't believe it was real because of the president at the time was saying that it was a hoax, made up, it's going to go away. And, you know, if you put bleach in your system, it's just a lot of false information he was giving. And it was confusing the American people. You know, typically you like to listen to your president. If you have that position, which is the highest position in the land, typically you want to listen to him or her. And typically they should want to say something that's credible, something that we all could follow and not just make up stuff. Well, that's what he was doing. All right. So, but it confused the Americans. So it confused everyone, all the citizens. So now we're starting to, you know, have a little bit more a consistent stream of information coming from our scientists and the CDC, and it's a great thing because now, you know, you kind of separate politics from the reality of scientific findings. All right, so some of these plagues we went through, the American plague, this was associated with, now I call this the pre-Columbian era, as we know, as your history books will tell you, Christopher Columbus discovered America, where actually when he got here, he and the Spaniards or Europeans, civilization was already here. They're called Native Americans. They already were here in existence, okay? And long story short, the Inca and Aztec tribes in the civilization were infected by what we call the American plague. You know, they brought diseases from Europe and whatnot, and through their trade and through their interactions with one another, most of Native Americans were killed because of the disease smallpox they brought over here. And they were living fine without that. And they didn't have all the resources that the Europeans had, as far as ammunition and some other things, but that they did have gold. And so there was, you know, the Europeans or Spaniards were trying to exchange that. And through those, again, through that acquisition and that bit of contact, Things weren't done properly. That's the best way I can say it right now. There's a lot I could say about that, but we can talk about that at another time. But the American plague is one of the big ones, where we have smallpox. And there was a vaccine for that. I believe there was a vaccine for smallpox. There is today. Philadelphia yellow fever, a disease carried and transmitted by mosquitoes. All right. And 5,000 people died from it. All right. Sorry, one moment. The flu pandemic, 1800s, or influenza. It's just in a few months, the disease spanned the globe, killing 1 million people. It took just 5 weeks for the epidemic to reach its peak mortality. Now, another phrase you hear is mortality rate. Mortality rate is associated with how many people are dying from a particular disease. The American polio epidemic. All right. Let's see here. Worldwide vaccinations effort have greatly reduced the disease, although it is not yet completely eradicated. So polio is still out there. Now, they had what they call the Salk vaccine. It was developed in 1954. So think about this. In this particular pandemic, you have an epidemic in 1916, and by 1954, a vaccine is developed, which makes you wonder, how do we get a vaccine so quickly today within 12 months? It's because of science. All right. Spanish flu, again, another influenza. Eventually affected about 5 million people, killed at least 50 million, and 675,000 in the United States. Now, what's ironic about that number is that, if some of you don't know, today with COVID-19, we just crossed the threshold of 500,000 people who died from COVID-19. That's within 12 months, since March of last year. Pretty sad, huh? Well, the Spanish flu spanned 2 years. Under a year, we have this. The Asian flu had another global showing of the influenza. With its roots in China, the disease claimed more than 1 million lives. The virus that caused the pandemic was a blend of avian flu and viruses. The avian flu viruses. And AIDS, we talked about that. It claimed about 35 million lives since it was first identified. Now, at the bottom of this, I share about 64% of the estimated 40 million who are infected with HIV are in Africa. And that continent, when you're talking about sub-Saharan Africa, you're talking about really almost about 75-80% of Africans, or 75% of the continent is where these 40 million people live. Swine flu, H1N1, and let's see here so we got, in 1 year, the virus infected as many as 1.4 billion people across the globe and killed between 151 or 152,000 to 175,000 people, according to the CDC. Pandemics, man, it's no joke. It's a shame we get them. And SARS-CoV-2, aka COVID-19, it's caused by the coronavirus. Now, coronavirus is a family of viruses, actually. This one is called SARS-CoV-2. Older adults and people have severe underlying medical conditions with heart and lung disease or diabetes seem to be at higher risk for developing more serious complications from this illness. All right, so far you got 2.2, 2.3 now million people have died so far from this virus. And as of, I have to update this now, because as of February the 4th, earlier this month, We had about 447,000. Well, we crossed that threshold as of this week. Now we have over 500,000 deaths in the United States. And they estimate 600,000 by mid-year. Well, we're already over 500,000. So by mid-year, what is it, February now? Mid-year is June. We might be up to 700, 800,000. But maybe not if we follow the science, if we get vaccinated. This is what our response should be, all right? To block the transmission. Our goal is to block it. The chain of transmission, right? The chain of transmission is how it goes from you to me, from me to someone else. And it keeps going and keeps going, keeps going. People are spreading it because they're not taking it serious. Even those who are asymptomatic, that means you don't have any symptoms, but you are contagious, or you sort of carry the virus. Maybe it's on your hands or whatever the case may be. You may have it and be asymptomatic, and you can go around someone who has health issues, upper respiratory issues, and you expose yourself to them, and they catch what you got. You were able to live with it, but someone else could die. So what do we do? Our response should be wear your mask, wash your hands, avoid close contact. We call that social distancing. And most of the stores and supermarkets, a lot of places where we have to go, they have place markers in the floor now to show you what 6 feet is from the person standing in line. Follow that, consider that. Even where that doesn't exist, you should still try to keep your distance from people. It's our new normal, so we have to just get, used to that. I know sometimes people get irritated by it and feel like I don't want to wear a mask. Well, guess what? I don't want to wear one either. It's a little irritating. Can't breathe. And now they encourage you to wear double mask. Imagine that. I've been doing it. I wear my double mask. And because wearing a double mask, what you've done, you just add in another layer, which makes you even less susceptible to have the disease transmitted. If one mask may be just a piece of cloth across your face, it may not be effective enough. Think about it. When you have your mask on, do you still smell things? Yeah. Isn't that interesting? You could smell garbage or smell something that doesn't, or something that smells good with your mask on. You can smell gasoline. You can smell, so that gets through the mask. So think about that. Just as sure as fragrances and odors can go through your mask, so can droplets or such like. It all depends on the concentration, obviously. If someone's standing in front of you and just, spraying everything that they're saying, or there may be a high concentration of someone who was infected. Maybe they were sneezing profusely and kind of filled the area where they were, with their, droplets. And then you walk in, and maybe if you stand there even for a period of time with one mask on, one of those little thin masks, maybe something you made, you can still catch it. Say, oh man, I had a mask on. So double mask decreases the possibility for that happening. All right. So our response is we want to block the transmission. Wear your mask, wash your hands, avoid close contact, which is social distancing. Stay home as much as you can. Stop going to all of those parties. Some people are ignoring the facts and just still having what we call super spreaders. Super spreaders are where you get a mask amount of people, hundreds of people together in one room, trying to have a party. No one's wearing a mask. And what are you doing? The likelihood of those who are infected by COVID-19 are in that room. They're there. And sometimes people are infected and they don't even know it. But they're in that room. No one's wearing a mask. No one's being careful. Everyone's touching things. There's maximum touch. You get sick like that. So be careful. Stay home as much as you can. And get vaccinated when it is your turn. Vaccination is a powerful health tool. Okay, so one of the things we're going to talk about with that is we did share this last time with vaccines. It can stop the chain of transmission. It creates a protective barrier, and it stops the epidemic from spreading within a population. All right. So when I share this, when you look at this, you see the three people in red would represent, say, someone who's infected by a virus or COVID-19, if you will. The person in blue is vaccinated. So the person in red, the first one, passed it to the other, and they passed it to another. And then the buck stops here, the person in blue. So everyone behind the person in blue doesn't get it. That's that protective barrier that is created by vaccines. Because not everyone's going to get vaccinated, like children and sometimes some elderly people. Some people don't want to get it. And I would encourage you to, but in either case, the more people that are vaccinated, it stops the epidemic from spreading within the population. So you have this reproductive number. It's called R naught. I won't get so much into the science here, but it's the number of cases, the number of new cases rather, over the existing cases. And when you divide those numbers, you come up with what they call an R naught, which is a reproductive number of new cases. The R naught is the average amount of new cases caused by existing cases. All right. And I know it's kind of hard to look at this. I was sharing this last time, but we had four different scenarios here of how a disease is spread. In number A, you have the orange circles represent 4 people that are infected by the disease, and within within that period of time, you're talking about within decades here, weeks, days. So say that was a period of time within 10 years. All right. You find out that the R naught is half the population, basically 0.5. Why? Because the 4 people you only end up with 2 additional people that are infected. It's science, y'all. It's how you do the math. And so in B, and if you are monitoring the spread of a disease within weeks, you've got now the 4 people who have infected another 4, and you do the math, and the R naught equals 1. All right. So it lets you know how fast this disease is spreading and how many people are getting infected by it. And within days, you now have the 4 people who are infected. Somehow, within days, you end up with 8 people. And you do the math, the R naught is 2. So out of every 4, out of every 4 people who are infected, you end up with 2 on an average. And then within weeks, you end up with about 72 people who are infected as a result of just 4 people within weeks. Now this is I'd say number C is more close to R naught associated with COVID-19. D, you do the math, the R naught is 18. So out of 4 people on the average in weeks, 4 people infected by this disease, according to the science, you're going to end up with 18 people on an average who are being infected within weeks. All right, enough of that science. So then you have what we call, hang on. Then you have what we call herd immunity. Have you heard that before? Herd immunity creates again, like an invisible shield against the spread of the disease. And I showed you that previously. But here again, check this out. So as more people are vaccinated or immunized, So everyone in blue has been immunized in this statistic, in this example. Those who are in white have not been immunized. Those in red are those who are infected by the disease. See how it's not able to spread as rapid because, again, what immunization does, it creates sort of a protective seal. That's why we encourage people to get the vaccine, get immunized, because the more people who do it, the less people will die from this disease. Okay, so let me see if I can do this again. No. Vaccines create an immune response to develop cells that make antibodies to fight a disease. So this is, in general, what a vaccine does. All right, vaccines create an immune response, and we all have this in our immune system. Our immune system is designed to respond to foreign elements in your body. So if it's a cold germ or some virus or what have you, or flu, typically your body, if you had the flu before, your body creates what we call we have antibodies, but they create a response, and the ultimate goal is to eradicate and get rid of that disease. It's a foreign element in your bloodstream, and your antibodies will fight it to kill it. Now, the difference with AIDS is it's associated with immune deficiency syndrome. So what happens is when people attract AIDS without any of the medicines that we have today, it breaks down your immune system, so you can't fight it off. That's why people die from it. But vaccines, they create an immune response to develop cells that make antibodies to fight a disease. They're called B cells, and then T cells are then created to recognize what is called pathogens in the affected cell to remove it. All right, pathogens are just, it's the molecular structure of a particular disease. Your antibody recognizes it, and it will eradicate it. That's what a vaccine does. And so we have, now there's two types of vaccines that are sort of popular right now. One, I'm only mentioning one here, which is the mRNA vaccines, which M stands for messenger, RNS. Vaccines are a new type of vaccine to protect against infectious disease. All right, COVID-19 vaccines are what happens, give instructions to our cell to make a harmless piece of what is called a spike protein. The spike protein is found on the surface of the virus that causes COVID-19. The benefit of the mRNA vaccine, like other vaccines, is those who are vaccinated gain protection without ever having to risk the serious consequences of getting sick from COVID-19. What are we saying? When you are vaccinated, it prevents you from, if you were to ever contract the disease, it prevents you from being hospitalized. All right? Because by and large, there's an average of people who get it or end up in a hospital on a ventilator, and on an average, people die. But with the vaccine, they have this, its efficacy percentage, its efficacy rate is what determines how effective it is to fight SARS-CoV-2. And with these particular vaccines, we have, let me show you this. Take this off. The authorized vaccines, there's actually more now. We had the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines, which are using that same mRNS vaccination algorithm, if you will. I could say it that way because there's another way that we are using DNA basically to create the which actually causes your body to create that spike protein. The spike protein. So basically, what vaccines that are out here are not giving you COVID-19. No part of COVID-19 is being inserted in your system. What with the science, what they've been able to do is take a piece of the layer of the cell from COVID-19, its DNA structure, and scientifically, the vaccine now, once entered into your body, it gives that molecular structure to your cells, which then in response creates the spike protein, which has the information that your antibodies need to fight COVID-19 should it ever enter into your bloodstream. All right, so that's the best I can explain it right now. I'm not I'm a computer scientist, but to explain this, that my reason for even explaining it the way I am now is because one thing you need to understand that out of all the vaccines that are available, none of them are putting COVID-19 in your system. See, as vaccines of old always had some part of the pandemic or the disease, and put that in your system, and your system learns to fight against it, and you build an antibody like that, like those T cells, right, to recognize that strand. But because of modern technology, using the DNA and the mRNAs are designed to pretty much almost like a computer program, is giving your cells the molecular structure associated with COVID-19. And it says, oh, okay, that's what that looks like. Okay, so if it were ever to enter in here, I already have, I didn't have to have the disease in my body for my antibodies to naturally create a resistance against it. That way. No, it's in essence, it's giving you a snapshot, almost a picture of what the disease looks like without giving you the exact disease. Isn't that interesting? That's science, man. All right, so they had some other clinical trial vaccines, AstraZeneca, Janssen, or Johnson & Johnson, and I believe that's being released to date. And Novavax, these are, I believe the Janssen and the AstraZeneca are using the DNA vaccines as opposed to the mRNAs. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The next time we do the next time we go into what we're doing with tattoo. Our response is, we can do it. So listen, be encouraged to know that we can do all things. You should be encouraged. Don't be afraid. Hang on. Don't be afraid of the vaccine. Something else I want to show you before I go. Remember, I talked about our website. I'm going to show it to you now. All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, hit it. Tough answers, tough topics, often overlooked. We try to give you the answers because it comes straight from the book. Tat it. Pastor Dave trying to rap in real time. All the time. All right, so here we have, let me, oh man, let's see here. Check this out, check it. Tattoo for Life. When you go to the page, this is our home page. All right, there's a young man in here. His name is Faison. I don't know where he is today. And this is at Adisa Veshel when we were there. See the tattoo backpack he has on. I gave all those away. I need to get some more. But these are the things you can find out. So if you click on here and you give me your email, you put your email in there and you say, no, I'm not a robot, and you subscribe, I'll have your email. It'll come straight to Tattoo. We'll have your email and we can keep you updated on what we're doing. We still have these wristbands for Tattoo. We have the wristbands for Change. Y'all know what that stands for? Control homicide and neighborhood gun violence effectively. We haven't given up on that campaign. We're still talking about that. All right, tough answers, tough topics, often overlooked. The art of listening and the power of comprehension. Y'all remember that. And our gallery, we got some real cool photos from Adisa Veshel, from there. And here's my buddy Corinne and some of the youth there. I think that was Corey standing there with me. And MLK Day, some other things we were doing. Here's our contact page. You go here and give me your contact info. It's taking a long time to load. What's up with that? You put in your name, give me a message. Let me know where you are. What are you doing? What do you need? You got computer peripherals. You got all the little gadgets that you need for your cell phone. Listen, if you need some cell phone stands, I will give you some cell phone stands. Something you could stand up your, I tell you what, this is what I'm offering to you. If you go to Tattoo, y'all seeing this? Yeah, you are. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, what I'll offer to you, let me go get it. Tough answers, tough topics. Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm gonna show you in a minute what we have here. Again, we have our gallery of photos and about Tattoo. You can read in here what this is all about. And then this was from a previous broadcast from January, so I need to update this. But in either case, you subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll always get the updates like what's going on tonight. You'll get that. All right. We have our media. A lot of the new music that we're doing, as again, this one I shared earlier with my niece, Talk About Love. And I have a little rap in there. We're going to be doing more things like that. And all the proceeds of those who purchase our music, all the proceeds are going toward our building fund. And we have our blog, all right? Music and the Arts. We got some other things that are going to be shared on our blog tonight. So listen, so here's what I'm offering to you. Check it. Yeah. All right, so this is what I'm saying. Tonight, you go to the website, tattooforlife.org. You go there and you subscribe. You give me your email and you send that information to me. Those who subscribe and send me a text for the Tattoo app on your cell phone, I'll send you one of these for free. Is that pretty cool? Look at that. So what does it do? Well, what you can do, you can sit your cell phone on here. See that? Goes in there like this. Is that pretty cool little gizmo? So when you're doing your lives or you're viewing things, isn't it kind of irritating sometimes when it's laying on a flat surface and you're trying to prop it up? Well, you can put it on here. Bingo. And you can still charge your device. All right? I'll send you this for free. Not the cell phone. But I can send you this little gizmo gadget. if you install the Tattoo app. Right? Okay, so again, the way you get the Tattoo app, the number is 484-655-2994. To that number, you text, "Hi, my name is," whatever your name is. Please send me the Tattoo app. I'll send you the Tattoo app. When you install the Tattoo app, you also need to go to our Facebook page, tattooforlife.org. When I receive your email, I have your information. I know it's you. And then I'll need to reach out to you to find out where I should send this. All right? Make sure it's okay with your parents too if you are under 18. Tough answers, tough topics, often overlooked. Tattoo for life. That's it. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, hit it.